Hello, my people. Welcome back to Christy TV. EL-Rufai alleged that there is an agenda to destroy opposition parties in Nigeria. The former Kaduna State Governor and chieftain of all the Progressive Congress Alliance APC, Nazar EL-Rufai, has alleged a deliberate plot to destroy the opposition parties ahead of 2027 general election. My correct people, them. Even Rufai Oseni blasts this EL-Rufai for calling some leaders illiterate and lack quality in his comments. My correct people, them no be smart, you know. For now, I want you guys to just watch the video of what EL-Rufai said as he exposed APC leadership failure and illiterate leadership. Don't be smart, you know. This is a very straightforward message to our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. My correct people, them make now watch the rest of the video. Don't forget to subscribe if you never do so. Turn on notification button so you will get notified whenever I post our latest content.
Thank you, distinguished Senator, Her Excellency, former Vice President. If you look at the program, you'll see that I'm not supposed to be on this panel. I was compulsorily drafted, and I want to say upfront that I am the least qualified person on the panel to speak about political parties because my experience in politics is limited, and my experience in forming or managing political parties is even more limited. I've been actively involved in only 2 political parties, all in the 21st century, unlike the former vice president who has been in this since the 20th century. I was very active in the CPC. I was one of the leaders of the CPC before we merged into the APC. And all I know about partisan politics comes from that experience. But I want to say that, you know, political parties are very, very important. I did not realize this until I became politically active. Because in our constitution, the only way we can contest for power is on the platform of political parties. Our constitution does not recognize independent candidates, even though we tried in our APC Committee on True Federalism to recommend that the constitution be amended to allow independent candidates. That has not happened yet, and I don't even know if it will ever happen. So political parties remain important. But what is the state of political parties today? I will give my own views of what I have seen in the last 2 years. The PDP, which is one of the largest and perhaps the oldest political party in this republic, is clearly targeted for destruction. It's a matter of time. There are internal mercenaries in the PDP that have been hired, paid, or otherwise motivated to destroy the party. So the party is on its way to the grave. Okay? And it's most unfortunate because His Excellency, the former Vice President, was explaining how politicians came together, essentially, put aside their differences to drive away the military. Most of these politicians ended up in the PDP. So the PDP actually represented the best of our politicians that fought for restoration of democracy. Forget those that make the most noise, but ran away from the country. Those that went to prison, those that were detained, all ended up in the PDP. Those were the real politicians that faced the military. But today, none of the founding fathers of the PDP can recognize it. Labour Party, again, targeted for destruction. And it's almost certain, the last time I had a conversation with Peter Obi himself, he admitted to me that he doesn't know what is happening in the party that he contested for president. So there seems to be a project to destroy all the opposition political parties. And the only option for the opposition, in my view, is to put aside their differences and come together and create a broad platform that will do the driving of the military again, because we are there almost. So, Your Excellency, we need your experience and skills. Now, I'm a founding member of the APC. If you go to INEC and ask for the form that got APC registered, I'm one of the 34 people that signed for it, and I was a founding member of the National Working Committee of the APC. But frankly, I no longer recognize the party. The party, no party organ of the APC has met for the past 2 years. No caucus, no NEC, nothing. I don't even know if it is a one-man show. It's a zero-man show. Okay. So, though I'm a founding member of the APC has left me behind. I'm still there where we were. We wanted to form a progressive party that will fight corruption, revamp the economy, and restore security to Nigerians. That was the objective of forming our party. And we all came from that party. After forming the party, we went out of our way to recruit others that we feel could add value to the party. We went to the residence of His Excellency Vice President Atiku Abubakar, invited him to join the party. We are not afraid of inviting heavyweights who are potential presidential aspirants, even though many of us were Buhari supporters. But we were not scared. We wanted a broad-based coalition that will address the problems of Nigeria, and we're successful in it. But why the APC today? I don't recognize it, as I said. It has left me behind. I still believe that the purpose of political contestation in Nigeria still remains revamping the economy, restoring security, and fighting corruption. The problems are still there. However, I no longer believe that my party believes in confronting those problems. So the distance between me and the APC is widening. It has left me, it's driving at very high speed away from where I am, but I remain where I am because these problems remain the living problems of Nigeria, and they have to be addressed. And the only way to address them is through the instrumentality of political party. So what happened to our parties? Why did our parties all end up where they are? When we started the APC, we were very hopeful that it will be member-financed party. We registered 15 million members. 15 million. If every member of the APC just gave the party 100 naira, that's 1.5 billion. Just 100 naira a month, which I believe almost everyone can afford. That's 1.5 billion. It's enough to run the party. We had aspirations of that nature. We had dreams of a real, ideologically driven, progressive political party. But today it is something else. If you look at the life cycle of the PDP, it was similar. They all end up becoming a one-man show. No collegiate leadership, no democratic leadership, no internal democracy. And the parties always get pocketed by those elected on the platform of the party. So if you look at what Professor Olukoshi outlined as the key issues to look out for in a party, ideology. What is the ideology of the APC? I don't know. We said we are progressive, but we are not progressive anymore. Okay? What about a societal project? What is our big societal project? I've mentioned the three. But now, if you ask people that were elected on the platform of the APC, they will say, I wanted to be governor. I wanted to be president. I wanted to. No, nobody talks about a national project, societal project anymore. It's about me. Me, myself, and I. What about manifesto? When was the last time you saw the manifesto of a political party in Nigeria? The last one I remember was the one we drafted in 2007 for the PDP. Okay? Since then, the PDP has never produced any manifesto. We did one at the formation of the APC, a very detailed one in 2015. But since then, nothing. The other parties, I don't even know. I haven't seen anything resembling a manifesto. What about membership? Members want to take from the party rather than contribute to the party. So we are in a serious crisis because these political parties are the vehicles through which leadership will emerge. Yet, they exist only on paper or in our imagination. And we must work. And this is a challenge for those in opposition. I'm not yet in opposition, by the way. I'm still in the APC. But this is a challenge to those in opposition. You must come together and form a party that, in my view, should closely resemble the NPN of the Second Republic. That's one political party that was an effective machine. The leadership was collegiate. The party imposed its will on those elected. It is unfortunate that it was terminated in 1983. Maybe by now we would have had a real political culture around collegiate, ideologically driven, and broad-based political parties. So this is the challenge for the opposition. I think I will stop here with my limited knowledge and experience in party formation and management. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think you did well. And since you're not yet in opposition, we will wait until when you are there because you have to be one of the crafters of the next step.
Thank you very much. You know, loyalty to a party comes after loyalty to God and to your country, I think. So, in my view, you know, there is absolutely nothing wrong with a party member wanting his party to win every seat. But I think the problem that we have is that people want to win by hook or by crook. When I was governor of Kaduna State and we had to conduct local government elections, I went to great lengths to ensure that the elections were free and fair. We even went to China and got electronic voting equipment, because I believed that it was important that we knew how well we were doing after being in office for 2-3 years. And the best way to test how well we were doing was to have credible local government elections. But believe me, I was just the majority of one because I was the governor. All my colleagues from CPC and ANPP and ACN said, look, just give us one chance to do to PDP what they have done to us for 16 years. Let us write the result and win everything as well. And I said, no, not on my watch. We lost some local governments, chairmanships, we lost some councillors, but on the whole, we won in more than 3/4 of the state, which I think was okay. And as far as I know, that is the only time in the history of this republic that local government elections were held to be free and fair in Nigeria. I have not heard of anywhere else. Because people just believe that the State Electoral Commission should ensure that every seat is won by the party in power. You know, some governors have tried a little bit to concede here and there, but the attitude is that, you know, we must take everything. I hope I've answered your question, but I want to build on what His Excellency Vice President Atiku Abubakar said about what the country faces as a challenge, because I don't think this is a challenge for the opposition. Okay? The way and manner opposition political parties are being targeted for destruction, and the style and quality of governance in this country today is a national emergency. It should concern everyone. And I think this is a problem for all of us to think about and play a role in changing it. Because as His Excellency said, we stand the risk of losing democracy itself. In the last election, only 26% of registered voters bothered to come out to vote. I'm in a possession of a recent opinion poll that showed that 75% of registered voters in Nigeria do not intend to vote in the next election. That is very dangerous for us. And I think every voice must rise and come out and fight for this democracy. For those of us that are in our 60s, we lived half of our lives under military rule. We know what it is, and we don't want military rule. But we also don't want civilians with behaving like the military in their barbariga and suits. So this is a national emergency. So I appeal to those in opposition, you must coalesce into one political party. We did it in the APC and it can be done again. Okay? But to avoid what has happened to the APC, I think you must ensure that there is internal democracy in your party from day one and insist on it. You must insist that the congresses and convention must be competitive, free and fair. The question of forcing people to step down on the day of the convention and so on should be out of the window. Let people contest and know that they won. And let those that have lost know that they lost. To try again. We must have internal democracy in our parties. And I think, and I found this out when I went back to Kaduna to contest for governor, I realized that the most important qualification for being a political stakeholder, at least in Kaduna State, was to be an illiterate. You are an illiterate, but you are very, very cunning. That's political stakeholder. We have to change it. We must have minimum qualifications. This politics is about leadership. You produce leaders through this political process. You cannot afford to have illiterates, semi-illiterates, cunning people, and so on as your leaders. You will end up with what we have. So the parties must have a standard. The Constitution may say, okay, the Constitution may say that if you have a secondary school certificate or you've attended secondary school, you can be president. Yeah, that's a minimum. But it doesn't mean that the parties cannot have a standard higher than that for the leadership of the parties. Because the leadership, it is the leadership of the parties that vote in congresses and conventions to produce the candidates. So when you have low quality party leaders, they are the delegates, you have low quality candidates. And you end up with a beauty contest consisting of only very ugly women. Okay? Because elections, in my view, are very similar to a beauty contest. You can only vote for the person that is on the ballot. You cannot vote for the best person. You can only vote for a person if he's on the ballot. And it is these so-called delegates, the party leaders, that vote to produce that candidate. So, if they are of low quality, do not expect them to produce a candidate of any better quality. This is a major problem in political parties. Thirdly, I think every party member should pay to be a member of the party. Yeah. That way he will have a say. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. As I gave the example of APC. We propose 100 naira a month. And we don't want you to pay 1,200 for 1 year and forget about it because you can afford it. No, we want you to every month to remember that you have a party and you're sending to your party 100 naira. It's a commitment. It's not the money. It is the commitment. I'm committed to this party that I'm sending 100 naira a month to it. For the APC, that would have been 18 billion naira a month, per annum. From the membership alone. Now, if the party has 18 billion naira from its members, how can any money bag buy up the party? It's also a way of protecting the party from godfathers, from money bags. And I think that should be embedded in any future party from day one. And finally, you must have competitive primaries. Allow everyone who wants to contest, who's ready to buy the poll, to contest. Don't tell people to step down. What are you afraid of? Competition is the only way to bring out the best and the brightest. And God knows this country needs it right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I don't know. Maybe I should form a party and get that 50 million. God knows I need it. It's the best way to round up. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, our country is at a crossroads. And it is time for all those that care about Nigeria, young and old. Those of us that are old are concerned about what we are leaving behind. Okay? And we have children and grandchildren. And the only reason why some of us are still doing this is because of that. But it is not something only leaders can do. We must have, as Professor Olukoshi said, we must have a political community. People must be worried about what is happening in Nigeria and not just concerned about getting 5,000 naira to vote on election day. Because you'll suffer for 4 years or 8. I think the earlier we all come to terms with that and put God, our country, and first before ourselves, we can just keep talking to ourselves.